Good morning. This is our early college parent meeting this morning. Our agenda for today is meeting norms, leadership team, school year information, ECHS expectations, dual credit information, remind codes, and important dates. And thank you so much. Please, our meeting norms are, please mute yourself to minimize background noises at designated intervals. The mute all function will be disabled at the end for Q&A. Please share the vocal space by limiting your verbal feedback to 2 minutes or less. Please utilize the chat feature if you're not comfortable speaking or if time gets away from us, or if you have a question during the presentation. Some of our staff members will try to answer those before our Q&A. The waiting room is enabled. Please remember, if there are inappropriate comments or pictures displayed, we will remove that person. If there is something just too inappropriate, because there are Zoom hackers, unfortunately, with school district meetings sometimes, just please go ahead and log off immediately, and we would have to reschedule. The purpose of our meeting is to give information, answer questions, and provide feedback. Now time for our introductions. I am Dr. Taylor. I am the principal for the Early College High School. And the rest of the team?
Hi, my name is Cora Garner, intern for Early College High School and English teacher. You may have seen some emails from me, also help with TSI.
Hello, I'm Ms. Burrows. I am the counselor for students L through Z.
Hi everyone, I'm Ms. Branch. I'm having some visual difficulties at this moment, but I am the administrative assistant to Dr. Taylor. So if you guys have received emails, they've probably been coming from me.
Okay, thank you very much. Presently, we have one counselor for early college. We are working with HR for the other counselor, as well as the high school. They are also down one counselor, and they are also working with the high school. So just please continue to check your emails or your updates, and you will get that information for the new person as soon as we're fully staffed. Now, this is some important information here. So if you wanted to take a screenshot with your phone, you could do that. For the freshman house, that is Miss Simon. And so sometimes they'll have meetings on the other side for the high school. And we were in those meetings last week. And so they still have important information. It may seem like a lot of meetings, but especially in this virtual space, you may want to attend if you can get in the meetings. Unfortunately, the meetings do have limited space, but they will send out the information. If you miss it, you can email any one of the principals and say, hey, send me that PDF, or if they happen to record it. Sometimes we can't send a lot of the recordings out because of space capacity, but here is this information. They will have more meetings next week. For the sophomore house, Dr. Ham is the principal. You also see the counselors listed there, so that's important information as well. For the junior house is Miss Miari. And then at the bottom of Miss Miari, you see the lead counselor, Miss Dewberry. So she helps facilitate all of the counselors. And then Miss West this year is principal for accountability and testing. So if you have questions in that area, you can reach out. Mr. Harris is principal for student services, 10th through 12th grade. And back at the top, you see Dr. McBride is still over the senior house. And so again, as I indicated, it's very important to attend those senior meetings because they may have additional information in those meetings for, scholarships, as we work with the Go Center. And so we all kind of work together. And then of course you see early college. And so our program, of course, is focused on our connection with Dallas College and Cedar Valley, the Cedar Valley campus. Give me just a moment. I'm letting in just some additional people. Okay. On here, you will see our academic calendar. If you've been keeping up with the board minutes, or you've been on Facebook or been checking the district website, this is the information that you'll see. And for all of the best of the Southwest, our superintendents got together for Duncanville, DeSoto, Lancaster, and Cedar Hill. And so we are all starting on September 8th. I also believe Dallas ISD is starting September 8th. And so they have made that adjustment. What is important to note here is that because of this adjustment, then our classes, which normally would start for Cedar Valley on August 24th for our students, will also start September 8th. However, if you look at the calendar from August 24th to September 8th, you do see a couple of weeks in there, but because their staff members are on contract, those professors during the regular time, so they are still teaching their Dallas College students and several other students that go there. And so they have August 24th until December as their contractual time. And so they will still be covering the same information, but it will be in a condensed section. And so for our students, that will be September 8th until December, maybe a little time in January, grades will be due for the professors, but basically it is the same semester with the same information, but it's collapsed down. And so that will give us additional time to get some other things together. Here are the reconnect options. If you have an iPhone, you can hold your phone up, your camera up to the screen for the QR, and it will take you directly to that page. You can check your Android if you know how that works. Sometimes you have to use a QR reader. But in any case, this information is, again, on Facebook. The district has been pushing this information out. And so make sure you are connected on Facebook, DeSoto ISD's page, because that information, as it changes, that's where it's housed. But for this one, you want to make sure that you filled out your survey for your student return. So is that at home or campus supervised? Again, these are the two options for our reconnect, our re-entry. We have some home supervised learning and campus supervised learning. If you'll notice at the check marks, it is both, it's all the same information. And so whether you're at home or campus supervised, the information is the same. So we have virtual teacher-led and facilitated instruction, regular teacher touch points, including progress monitoring and check-ins, access to tech help and resources, social and emotional wellness, activities, and resources. And you will see later when I show the schedule, that information. So basically your students will not switch, our students will not switch your children. They will be in that same classroom. So wherever they're housed for the day, and from the information we've received, that will all be on the freshman side if they chose campus supervised learning. And so basically they will be in there, campus supervised by a facilitator or by a teacher, and they would be doing their work on the computer. Here is the high school daily schedule. So as you see at the bottom, the 3:50 dismissal time, there was a time, 20 minutes about roughly added to the schedule. And that helps with, one, because we're starting school later, so we had to make those instructional minutes that TEA requires. Number two, it also allows us within the day to do those additional checks that we need for COVID-19 and make sure that we're staying safe. And so if you see at 7 o'clock, you have COVID symptoms check at home. And then at 7:30, a SEL focus, making sure that we get there. We'll have breakfast. And then at 8 o'clock, first or fifth period, 9 o'clock, second or sixth period, 10 o'clock, third or seventh period, and then 11 o'clock, fourth or eighth period. A 1 hour lunch break from 12 to 1. That helps because of the sanitation, the distancing, and the way that you have to give students the lunches and take your breaks. And then allow time for restrooms. And then at 1 o'clock, there's collaborative team meetings and live tutorials. And then at 2 o'clock, live tutorials and small group. And then 3:50 is dismissal. And so you'll get more information on those live tutorials and small groups later. This side, again, of course, is for the high school courses. We're going to move into the early college high school program at CVC in just a couple of more slides. Okay, so you'll see here campus supervised learning. There's no transportation provided. You'll have 3 temperature scans daily for the students. That's at arrival time, lunch, and before dismissal. There's student zoning. So we'll practice that social distancing. A mask will be required all day. There's no bell schedule. So although you see the 8 and 9 o'clock, they are within those classes. That just means that they may switch from whatever there is on their schedule from English to math at 9. So they start at English at 8, then at math, they're at 9 o'clock, then they start that on the computer, but they're not moving physically. There's no transitions. Breakfast and lunch will be held in the classroom, have restroom procedures. There'll be a staggered dismissal so that everybody's not crowded up. And then attendance requirement. That will be something that's required. And so when you have information from your teachers, make sure that you're checking in because those students might have to log in and do a discussion board to say that they were present because we still have attendance requirements to meet for the state for students and to know that they were actually there. So whether they're at the campus or at home, then we do have an attendance requirement and more information will come out. Here's another QR code. If you have your camera for your phone, you can snap that one. So you can go to this one, but make sure what's important here is our online enrollment. So please complete your registration process. It's very important. On that page, they have an email address. I believe it's online.registration@desotoisd.org. Or if you ever have any question, if you can't get in touch with someone at the campus, you can always email info@desotoisd.org and they will redirect your question. That is the general inbox for the district, and that's info@desotoisd.org. And so it is important here to note that we do have dual enrollment. And so if you are submitting papers for, incoming freshmen or have to update some things, that is for the college side for Cedar Valley and Dallas College. But we also require every year, of course, as you know, DeSoto ISD registration, or if you are new coming into the system, then that whole enrollment process and verification that we have to go through. Okay. Okay, for our vision, our students will engage in rigorous curriculum with supportive structures to exceed standards and obtain a high school diploma with an associate degree. That is our goal. So that whether they're going into Dallas Promise or wherever they're going, or get 2 years worth of transferable college credit, it just helps them. And so we work with them with their program of study. And so I wish I had this program, early college, when I was in school, it just helps kids save money, not rack up so much debt. And so it is really a jump start. And then they are more likely to be successful once they can get some of the cores out the way, because then they're going to college. Basically, maybe they have to complete a few more requirements, but basically going right into their major. And so for many of us, that is a time that we're very, very excited. Okay, so we empower a diverse group. This picture here is Tiffany Kalu. She received several scholarships for DeSoto High School. She was the valedictorian, but we're proud of all our students. They picked several career paths. We have, several in the military that signed up. You can see them on Facebook, and I don't know how long because they supposed to be keeping secrets later for location, but right now you can see them. And then all of our other students, whether they chose to stay in Texas or go away, depending on college requirements with COVID going on right now. But Tiffany decided to go to Harvard, but she had lots of options. So we're just highlighting one of our students here from our program. Okay, our curriculum also emphasizes college readiness skills. And so that is critical thinking and writing, innovation and research, speaking and listening, collaboration, and time management. These are skills that they need in college because later when they get to the 4-year or whatever they decide to do with their career, then we won't be there. You won't be there as parents or guardians or a support system, and we won't be there. And so it just really helps them with those skills. And even when they get a job as supervisor, managers, lawyers, doctors, whatever they want to become, entrepreneurs, then these are things they all have to balance out. We work in a team, so you have to, work on your speaking and listening presentations that you're doing, collaborate with group meetings if you're in professional development. And so just a lot of things. And that time management is important. They won't be able to sleep in when they need to be on time for a job. So we look at school as, their job, like wake up and this is what we're doing today. This is your job. We provide enrichment opportunities for the early college program. We do work with the Go Center, and let me see if she is on here. Need to unmute her 1 second. Miss Jackson, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. So Miss Jackson is here. Do you want to say anything on this portion about college recruitment or the Go Center or things y'all offer for tours?
Yes, so good morning, everyone. My name is Aisha Jackson, and I serve as the CCMR coordinator for the district, and Ms. Taylor Terry is our college advisor in the Go Center. She's currently in training, so she's not available today. But yes, in the past, we were able to take students on college tours that were open to everyone. I know a lot of times students say, I'm in early college. I'm like, well, it's not, exempt. You're welcome to go as well as having some college recruiters on campus throughout the months that we were in school. But obviously everything is turning virtual at this point. So we have scheduling college recruitment visits virtually, and that will start in September. That second half of the scheduling that you have seen in the very beginning of the meeting. So your students will be able to still engage with the college reps just as they would in person. And there will still be a college fair, but just from a virtual standpoint. So they will still be accessible to these. And I can put my information in the chat as well as Ms. Terry's. And you're welcome to schedule an appointment with me if you would like more information or need some guidance. I'm here to help. So I think that's about it. Dr. Taylor, did you want me to speak on anything else?
No, I think that was mainly it. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Again, like she mentioned, we collaborate. Of course, the pandemic hit, so usually we would have gone on some more, college recruitment tours or trips at the end. We did attend some virtually for our students at the end of the semester because of, just the way the pandemic was. But we do work together. And again, as I mentioned, Ms. Jackson, Ms. Ford, and all of the team, Ms. Terry, they're also in those senior meetings. So if you have a senior, it's very important to also catch Dr. McBride's meetings because they may share some additional information or have some college, recruits coming out or providing information, some informational sessions at that time. So we just work together as a team to do what's best for all of our students and serve them. This picture here is from the National Association Alliance of Black School Educators. We went to a National Youth Symposium downtown Dallas, and our early college students, they took first place. You'll see Ms. Garner there, who led the group and Ms. Garner introduced herself earlier. And so they also got recognized at the board. And so just some of the things that we do. I'm going to turn this portion over to Ms. Garner. This is a portion that was presented. If your student is a incoming freshman, then you would have received an email. If they, if you submitted all your information, we had it for our summer bridge. And so this is some of the information from Cedar Valley. The previous students, they usually got this information in person at the summer bridge, a face-to-face one, but because of the pandemic, we were virtual, of course. And so she will provide those updates here in the chat. And we're just giving you this information to share. Later on in the slide, we will have another meeting with Cedar Valley, and they'll be able to provide any additional updates for the start of the fall semester at the end of the month. But we just wanted to go over a few things here.
Well, thank you, Dr. Taylor. Good morning, everybody. So dual credit student expectations. Your students learned a lot of this during our summer bridge program. They did a fantastic job, but for all the parents that are here, we just want to run over a few tidbits. So the topics, that we usually discuss as far as dual credit and early college is concerned, defining early college, high school, college versus high school classes, TSI, online learning, FERPA. So we're going to cover a little bit of that today.
One thing I'll add to this slide is if you'll notice at the bottom, it says Dallas College. And so some of the slides may say DCCCD. They recently changed their name to Dallas College. And so now all of the campuses fall under Dallas College. So they're not separate campuses anymore, although we may say CVC still because it's Cedar Valley campus now instead of Cedar Valley College. And so they're all Dallas College, and all the campuses now report up to one entity.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. You all may have seen the commercial where the guy eats that really big sandwich. That's, Dallas College. So what is early college, high school? ECHS offers students a unique pathway to earn a college associate's degree, which is the goal that Dr. Taylor always stresses, is the associate's degree with the high school diploma at the same time. Students earn both high school and college credit for the same course. So just a little bit about college courses versus high school. To remember, students are responsible for remembering deadlines and due dates. Students are expected to initiate contact with their professor when assistance is needed, unlike high school, where a high school teacher like myself may reach out to that student if I see the student needs help. But in the college world and the dual credit world, the student will have to take that initiative. The requirements may be met only if the student's average meets the department standards. So if Cedar Valley requires a certain GPA, students have to live up to that particular GPA. As far as high school class is concerned, teachers know students' need. We talked about that. Parents may regularly communicate with teachers, but that wouldn't happen in a college class. And, Ms. Burrows will kind of talk about FERPA and explain that just a little more. So your primary online resources. So students learned all about this in Summer Bridge, eConnect versus eCampus. So these are two different platforms, but both associated with Dallas College or Cedar Valley College. So eConnect is an online student services center. That's where students can find their class schedule, request classes, remove classes, although they should consult with their counselor before doing that. But anything administrative, pulling up an advising report, unofficial transcript, that's all eConnect. eCampus, on the other hand, is the learning management system. So that's like your Schoology, for example, your Google Classroom, but in the college world, that's called eCampus, or CVC. It's called eCampus. So you got the course syllabus, grade book, notes, discussion boards, all of that occurs through eCampus. Students already know how to access these platforms. And again, just the difference between the two, which we talked about. eConnect, program of study, schedules, transcripts, student information. If the student moves, changing the address, phone numbers, it's all administrative. eCampus online classroom. You got the announcements, syllabus, virtual tutoring, resources. Whatever the professor posts as far as assignments will be on eCampus. So at a glance, this is what eConnect looks like. It's just very simple, but you can see there's so many links that, you know, a student could click on. When I was a student at Cedar Valley, I don't think I used every single link, but I remember certain sections being important to me. The financial section was important to me at that time, personal information. This is how eCampus looks. This is where the assignments are, like we discussed, and students are already familiar with this. They've seen it before. So TSI requirements. So I know that, you know, you're like, TSI, or are we still testing? So TSI still matters. And TSI stands for Texas Success Initiative. During summer bridge, students received a lot of TSI tutoring. We gave the students some homework, stuff for them to practice. And so when the time does come, when testing centers are reopened, we're following CDC's recommendations there. The students are ready. Ms. Jackson or Dr. Taylor, if you have anything else you want to say about TSI, please do.
Okay, sometimes you may see, which is basically like a reboot option of a 2.0. So you may see TSI A. Of course, because of COVID, you know, we were submitting transcripts, certain grade point averages and things, but just like other colleges may have kind of per se waived it, but we still have to, the students get those A's and B's in the classes, and then they still would have this requirement later unless they had another exemption. And so that's why in our summer bridge still, for even our freshmen, we still covered the prep course, because right now we couldn't physically give the test, or Cedar Valley. So we still want you to know that it's important, and here are the scores. And you'll get more information as they share additional information on the August 27th meeting when Cedar Valley is present.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. So are there exemptions for the TSI? So as you know, this past spring, STAR was waived because of COVID. So at the time, we're not looking at exemptions. We're just trying to help students to get prepared for TSI when the time does come. So student rights and responsibilities, you may be wondering about the meningitis shot or the vaccination. You know, as we all know, virtual learning is taking place this fall. And so I'm gonna let Dr. Taylor speak to any new information she has about meningitis shot.
Yes, and so for incoming students, there was a form, basically like an emergency medical consent form that you sign. Usually the meningitis shot is to cover those classes when either students might be going up there for tutorials, you know, professors come to our campus, but right now everything is online. However, if you take your child to the doctor, you know, during the fall semester, of course, you may want to go ahead and get that information and have them get their meningitis shot if they haven't had it. Some get them in middle school, but they're like two different strands that the shot that you get. And so there's different requiremements for the college. And so you might just want to check that medical record. You may have to contact, you know, the nurse to see, you know, what they have and what's on there, or double check your records to see. But I would just suggest to go ahead and get that if you haven't, or if it's at that 5-year mark where it's going to expire. We do know, like, they give a certain one later, but early college starts in 9th grade. And so as they're, you know, going up to the school, then this is just something that they need. We can give you more information when they get here August 27th. So right now, everybody's basically exempt because of it. But I was just saying, if they open back up in the spring and you're taking your child, you may just want to go ahead and have that done at that time. And then you're not rushing if they go up to the campus to get it, because it's a requirement from Cedar Valley. So they have a lot of requirements outside of DeSoto that we must meet and can't change.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor, for that clarification. So FERPA, student rights and responsibilities. Ms. Burrows explains this better than any person I've ever met, so I'm going to turn it over to our counselor, Ms. Burrows.
Hello. All right, so FERPA is a federal law that protects privacy of student and records. The records belong to the parent or guardian until the student turns 18 or they enroll in a college course, which is why as college students, the FERPA rights belong to your student. Which is why professors are not allowed to communicate with parents about their students' grades or assignments because they're bound by FERPA laws. The FERPA waiver your student signs when they enter college gives the early college office at Cedar Valley permission to contact the parents to give them information about their assignments and their grades, but it does not give professors permission to talk to parents. And also because of FERPA law, we early college do not have access to your students' college information because we're not college employees. So if we need their grade or their advising report or the program study, we have to ask college for it or ask Cedar Valley for information.
Thank you. All right, let's keep going, Ms. Burrows.
Yes, student rights and responsibilities, academic integrity. That just means not cheating, not plagiarizing, not committing collusion. Cheating, I'm sure we all know that definition is copying work from another student's test or paper without their permission or submitting it as your own. I'll go collusion is unauthorized collaboration with another person in preparing written work. And plagiarism. Plagiarism is a big, some of our students get in trouble for that. Plagiarism is submitting someone else as your own or not giving them proper credit in your essays or your research papers. Most of our students do not intend to commit plagiarism. They just do not cite the work properly in their essays or their research papers, and they don't work on it. They don't commit or they don't have a complete or proper works cited page. And Ms. Garner will go over that, and we're also getting some information. So just utilize as a college student. Students are able to use all the resources all other college students use or are allowed to have, such as the tutoring center, the math lab, the library. So I would suggest they take advantage of those resources.
Thank you, Ms. Burrows. So parents and students, not just parents and students who are on the line, if you see that QR code that's on the screen, now's a good time to scan it just to check out the online learning resources that are free to students through Dallas College. And, you know, if you're struggling right now to get a picture of that QR code, we plan to send out the presentation so that you can do it at a later time. So online learning resources continued. So take a good look at that email address. Please get a picture of it if you can or write it down. If a student needs assistance, they can send an email to dual credit ECHS support@dccd.edu. Sometimes we're asked questions and it's really a question that someone at Dallas College can help and assist with. And so that is an email to utilize. In their email, students must include their first and last name, DCCD ID number, and what they need help with. Ms. Hobson, who is a representative for Cedar Valley, did teach students how to compose an email with this information during summer bridge. So just ensure that students are